The Trump administration has convened a grand jury, the DOJ, and they have indicted Kilmar Abrego Garcia on a whole bunch of sex trafficking and child trafficking charges. Evidently, this guy was going around in a vehicle engaged in a kind of rather elaborate sex trafficking operation, not just involving him, but involving a bunch of other people as well. So he was part of a sex trafficking network, or at least this is the allegation against him. Obviously, it has to be substantiated and proven in court. But if true, this is obviously a really bad guy. This is not some kind of innocuous Maryland man, a welder, and a kind of blue-collar guy who's being singled out for some reason by the Trump administration. No, this is a really bad guy. And in a way, I think the Trump administration must have come to the view that it's not enough just to leave him in El Salvador. People will continue to think of him as some kind of a noble victim, that he was sort of improperly deported. And of course, the fact that he's coming back is leading to headlines like, man improperly deported is now being returned, as if, justice is being done. But the guy is being brought back to face very serious charges. And so we'll see how that goes. But I think that the thing to me is that there is a certain pathological aspect in the left and in the Democratic Party that views people like George Floyd and Kilmar Garcia as noble heroes. Somehow the Democrats' heroes always turn out to be really bad guys. It's almost as if they need the guy to be a really bad guy. If the guy was in fact an innocuous guy, they don't really want him as a hero, because part of what makes him appealing, it's almost like the Democrats are saying, we can pick anybody. This guy can be a home invader. He can be a drug addict. He could have his body addled with drugs. He could be a sex trafficker. And we, through the power of the media, through the power of propaganda, we can turn a monster into a guy who deserves to have his statue built in the middle of a major city. And if this seems like an exaggeration, no. Think of the fact that you have George Floyd statues in more than one place in this country. You have the leadership of the Democratic Party doing George Floyd genuflections. He became somehow Saint George Floyd. And I think, again, it's not just because somebody put a knee on his neck. It's because this guy was truly a bad guy. And the Democrats are like, look, we can turn this bad guy into a hero. So the Democrats' heroes are always of the caliber of the Weather Underground guy who blew up the Che Guevara, a monster and a kind of a mass murderer in his own way. The Democrats, of course, had their romances with Mao and Stalin, who butchered, in those cases, tens of millions of people. Democrats have an affinity for lawlessness and for, as I say, really bad guys. And so having settled on George Floyd as their poster boy for 2020, it seems entirely appropriate that in 2025, we have child trafficker, or at least alleged child trafficker, Kilmar Abrego Garcia.